This beginner's tutorial will show how to make a child's car seat using T-Splines and Rhino 4. As this is a symmetrical object, we will model half of the car seat and then mirror it to get the full model. We'll begin by using the Rhino mesh box command to create a 4 by 3 by 1 mesh box. Because we will be mirroring this, we'll go ahead and delete faces that will be lying along the y-axis because that will be the interior of the model there. Okay, so now with the mesh box laid out like that, we are ready to begin creating the chair, and we will do this mainly by using the T-Splines Extrude command. So we will click on the Extrude T-Splines Faces icon in our T-Splines toolbar, and it tells us to select the T-Spline object where we'd like to extrude a face. Now, because we can convert these mesh objects to T-splines, if we just click on a mesh box, we'll automatically convert that to T-splines when we start the command. And we will be extruding the armrest out of this corner, so go ahead and click on that face, hit enter to continue, and I'll go ahead and extrude this up 4 units. And now I'll extrude this again. You'll notice that the control points remain selected, and so if I enter the extrude command again, then it will automatically have that face selected already for me. So I'll just hit enter, and now I'll bring it up 2 more units. Now I will extrude this face 2 more times to make the arm. So I'll enter the extrude command. I'll click on this face here. I'll extrude it out 3 units, and then 1 more time I'll extrude the face out 3 units. Okay, now we have the basic shape of the armrest, and now we will use the extrude command again to create this little side wall. So again, we'll click on the extrude command, and to do the side wall, we'll extrude 2 faces at once. By extruding 2 faces at once, then they will be extruded together. So extrude this up 3 units, and you can see there that those 2 faces were extruded together. Okay, so that concludes the extrusion part of our process. And now we will use the T-Splines manipulators to shape this model. So the manipulators can be accessed by hitting this icon. Once we enter the manipulator command, it will bring up the translate manipulators. We can also toggle to the rotate manipulators and the scale manipulators. We can do this in the command line, or we can use hotkeys. W for translate, E for rotate, and R for scale. And these hotkeys are live throughout your whole Rhino session by having the hot manipulators option to on, and that can be turned off at your convenience. Okay, so what we'll use now is the scale manipulator, and we will scale these control points so that we get a nice little slope here. Now we'll skip to the translate manipulator and go ahead and bring this down so that bottom control point is in line with the axis again. Now we've got a nice slope there for the front of the chair. Next, we will use the rotate manipulators. We'll select the control points up on the armrest and these control points on this part of the armrest. Change to the rotate manipulator, and we'll change the pivot of the manipulator so that it will be right here in the kind of in the midpoint of that line segment. So that way we can pivot from there, and we'll just tilt that back a little bit. Okay, finally we'll use the translate manipulator again, and we'll just drag these two control points in about 2 units to give it a little bit more of a forward lean. And we've got the basic shape of our chair. And that can of course be stylized more, but that's good enough for us now. Now we'll mirror this using the Rhino mirror command. And we'll just type in 0 to mirror it around the origin. And here we have our child's booster car seat chair. Currently this is in 2 surfaces, and we can merge these 2 surfaces together and create a single T-spline surface by using the T-Splines Merge command. We'll select the one surface, then we'll just click on the other surface, and it will merge those 2 surfaces together. Now when you merge something in T-splines, then it will create a crease right on those edges that were merged. You can see the extra control points there. That won't create a problem in this model, but as a matter of principle, it's good to remove those merged creases unless they're intended. So we can use the T-Splines Remove Creases command. Click on the T-spline, click on this crease that we'd like to remove, hit enter, and you can see that crease was removed, and so this surface will be smooth later on if we want to manipulate that. Now let's take a look at the overall smoothness of our model. And we can see that in fact the model is quite smooth. It's curvature continuous smooth everywhere except for these regions that we call star points in T-splines. Now we can contrast a star point with a traditional NURBS type control point. These traditional control points have 4 edges meeting at a vertex. Star points can have 3 or 5 or 6 or more edges meeting at a single vertex. And by default we display these rather coarsely. However, we can increase that smoothness by using the set star smoothness command and changing the value from its default of 1 to a higher number such as maybe 5. And what this higher value will do is make the surface smoother, and then whatever the smoothness of the surface is, that will be the smoothness that will be inherent in the surface when we convert this to NURBS later on. So as we can see now with the smoothness value of 5, the surface is quite smooth here. In fact, it's approaching G1 smooth at that star point, which will be preserved when we convert this later on to NURBS for manufacturing. So we can use zebra stripes as well to check out the smoothness of the model. And there we have our child's car booster seat made in T-Splines and Rhino 4. Download a free trial, case studies, and more tutorials today at tsplines.com.